Hey folks, this is AJ, the CEO, with another episode of Church Post Production, episode number 41. We got some people already waiting in the wings. I was chatting with them while I was trying to get these files copied over, so it's going to take a little bit more for them to copy over, but hey, we'll go ahead and get started. I hope y'all had a hopefully y'all had a great day at church today. Today was kind of interesting. It was good though. And while I'm waiting for all this stuff to copy over, just letting y'all know I am using the A10 Mini today. And my camera just died. Hold on. Let's see if it's not working now. Am I not plugged in? Hold on. See. Shouldn't have. Okay, everything is there. How come my camera is not working? That's strange. I had everything plugged in, but this camera's not working. Oh well. I had my DSLR hooked up today because it was giving a better image, but for whatever reason, it's not working. I don't know if the batteries are dead or what. Okay, and it's saying it's giving me an error, so let's go ahead and just shut this down, and I will switch this out with another camera. Well, while we're waiting to get started with all this other stuff that's going on, I am expecting a couple of packages today. This is going to be, and I had some people that had some issues with the video that I did about how long of an HDMI cable can you run that the A10 Mini accepts, and somebody brought up saying that the coupler would be a problem. So I have two 25-foot HDMI cables that are saying that they are in the neighborhood to be delivered, and I'm going to test those out in a follow-up video. Now, my only concern about that is they're saying that they didn't like the couplers, but something like this is considered a coupler even though it converts it, and that's really all this is. I mean, a coupler to me is nothing more than an extension of the cable. It really doesn't cause any interference, but just to satisfy the people who had an issue with it, I ordered a long cable, so it will be a coupler between the two 25 feet. But if we, based off what we tested before, feel that the signal may degrade. Now, because it's one cable, maybe it will run better with just one cable. I don't know, but we shall see. And I'm trying to find my other camera. I think I got it put behind here. Give me 1 second so I can hook this other camera up so y'all can see. This is my fault for not testing this out thoroughly before I got started. And speaking of that coupler, I'm actually going to be using that here to get all of this working. There's my cable. I'm plugging in this other camera so y'all can see what's going on here. Alright, I think I'm good now. Just got to get the camera in focus. There we go. Alright, so does camera number 2 work now? There we go. Alright, we got another camera. Just to let y'all know, I am in the chat, so y'all can send your messages to me and we respond back and forth. What I normally do on Church Post Production is just share with y'all what actually I do at the end of service to get our video, chop it down for consumption on social media, on YouTube, our website, podcast, iTunes, Google Play, all that fun stuff, and just share with y'all how I do that, because when I came up trying to do this, I really didn't have any way of doing this, so this is me trying to show y'all at the same time. Donald and mark. Let me go ahead and answer y'all right now. The question was, have I figured out a way to do a workaround? So let me share with y'all what is supposed to be delivered today. And this is my thoughts on the workaround. Now, it is actually similar to what I already suggested. I think it's a cheaper option than that is. Let's cut over here, and that's the wrong monitor. Why is it treating like I got two different monitors here? Hold on. Like I said, I'm doing this all through the ATEM, and it's not showing my, because I'm duplicating the wrong monitor. All right, let me drag this over here so now y'all can see it, but now I can't. And this is my other monitor here. So what I ended up getting, and maybe I should pull this up before I show more information that y'all are not supposed to see. All right, this is no harm in showing this. All right, so this is what I ordered here, and this is $54, and this is a 4-in-1 multi-viewer. Now, there are a couple of videos that I saw about this, but the videos were all in Spanish, and honestly, this was the cheapest one out of here. So if it doesn't work, I'm actually going to send it back and get the Ori brand. The Ori brand of this is actually around $89. But the whole thought is in here, you bring in all 4 HDMIs into this, and then there's one output, which will be your multi-view. And see how it's set up with all the 4 inputs. You have one here that will show all 4 inputs on one screen. That is my solution that I'm going to be testing out. Now, I also have a bunch of HDMI splitters already. This is what I'm going to be using here. And so the idea is I'm going to come out from my camera into this, split this out. One goes into the ATEM Mini, the other one goes into that matrix. Now, the other thing is, in doing this, I think I still have it in my cart. These are not those. I thought I had some cheaper ones. There were some HDMI splitter that it looks like they removed here. HDMI splitter. There were some $8. Well, this one's even cheaper now. Yeah, this is around an $8 one. I don't need a switch. I need a splitter, and that's what got me in trouble. See, this one right here. Please be mindful of those whoever you buy one. This is the exact one that was on that screen here. It says it's bidirectional. It is not. It is only a switch. I've plugged in stuff and it doesn't split out. So please be aware of, even though it says it's bidirectional, it is not. It only comes in. This is actually out. So if I have a PlayStation and a camera coming in here, I can press this button to choose which one. It says it's bidirectional, but it is not. This is going to be a regular splitter, and I already have 2 of those, and I'm going to get 2 more. So I'm thinking about something like here that says it's exactly a 1x2 splitter. You can get something even like this that's cheaper. Just be mindful, but I think these are the ones I'm thinking. Oh no, that still is this. It was another one that looked just like this, and it was like $8. I thought I had it saved in my cart, but it's not. But I'm a fan of the Ori brand, so I might get one like this or this. But the idea is you run this in, the input coming in from your camera, then the output number 1 goes to that matrix, output number 2 goes into the ATEM Mini. So I would have a secondary monitor that will show me everything that's looking on there. So lumping that all together, let's just do the math, make it easy. Say those splitters are $10 each. That's $40 for 4 of them, and then this is $50. So it's about an additional $100 to do everything. I'm not lumping in the cables. I have more than enough HDMI cables all over the place. Especially I have these small ones here, these monoprice small ones, so I don't have to have cables all over the place. I got a ton of these, so that will be good for this type of setup. And the box, I'm gonna bring it in. I'll show you if it gets delivered here. The idea is that box, I plan on putting it right under this, so I just have the cables looped in and that's it. So that is what I'm thinking as a solution for right now. Honestly, I still like the SDI solution, but I understand from a budget-friendly standpoint that is going to cost more, because those converters, these type of converters are about $50 each, $55 each. So you're looking at around $200 just on these, and then the Black Magic one is around the 4x that puts it on the TV, that's $155 right there, not even including the SDI cables, which normally go for $1 per foot once you get to around 6 feet. So anything less than 6 feet, you're paying almost like $13. Yeah, Donald, you're welcome. And I plan to actually have that, hopefully, I'm tracking it on my phone here where it's supposed to be delivered, because the extra long HDMI cables are coming in at in the same package as this one, even though I ordered them. I ordered them like an hour apart. So I'm looking here, and it's saying out here that it's out for delivery. So it should be here sometime soon. But all right, let's go ahead and cut over to the computer, and I need to change my display because y'all can't see the screen that I was hoping y'all were going to be able to see in here. So this is going to be 2 and number 1. I think I need to split this with, and I'm doing this all on one screen because of the setup. Nope, that's the wrong one. No, that's the wrong one. There it goes. All right. We are in DaVinci Resolve. I got everything copied over onto my 1 terabyte NVMe, so that this will run a lot faster under current project. Here's the video from today, and I was actually playing today. So I don't know how this file is going to come out. Yeah, go ahead, Donald. Like I said, this is meant for y'all. I'm just showing y'all what I'm doing, but if y'all have any other questions when it comes to related to the A10 Mini, media ministry stuff, tech, please go ahead and knock yourself out. I am here, and y'all follow along with me because I've been doing this. I have over 40 other episodes of me doing this, so I'm just going to burn through this. So y'all go ahead with whatever questions you got. So I'm going to find where everything started. About right here is where we started praise and worship here. Sermon ended. I'm going to find when Pastor Sales goes to sit down. So that's good right there. So this is the entire service. So I already have it trimmed here. And let me bring in our little assets from our church stuff, our Resolve folder. Yeah, AV Emotion. Actually, I normally have a countdown timer, but when I normally start this live stream, I actually, let me put it this way. I have a countdown timer on our live stream. This is actually cut directly from our HyperDeck Studio that doesn't show that. So like if I cut over, let me bring this up because I actually have this on Vimeo. Donald, on our on the test that I did, I was able to get a signal at 30 feet, but it cut out within 2 seconds. I got it at 24, but it was cutting out. Anything under 24, it was working perfectly fine. And technically, HDMI really can only go 20 feet before it degrades the signal. But that's why maybe these 25 feet will show something different. AV Emotion. This is our normal live stream that we start that everybody at church, well, everybody who's watching online does. And I actually did a countdown timer that you can check out on the channel or through ajhomes.com, where I made a bunch of them from 10 seconds all the way up to 1 hour. And you can place it on here. And this is how our stream normally starts with our countdown. I really need to do that here on this on my post-production, but normally when I get started on my post-production, I let that loop for about maybe like 2 minutes and I go right into it. So I really hadn't had a reason to put a timer on it, but I will plan on doing that, hopefully. Yeah, Donald, no problem. Thank y'all for all the interaction, and let's get in here. I loaded up everything. And we're here. And now we're on DaVinci Resolve 16.1.2. They did some updates. It threw me off. This button that I normally do to do tabs and stuff like that used to be here, but they moved it. But they have this timeline button that's kind of smart. Clicking here shows you the entire timeline without having to drag back and forth. So I like that. I'm still getting used to it, but it's cool. So what we're going to do here, what we normally do is do everything in our full timeline of the entire service. Then we cut out the sermon, cut out any songs. I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable with some of the music that we did just because that's just how I am. Me bellowing like I normally do sometimes at church. So that's what was going on today. So I do all my edits in full. Then I also make a online version, which is really for our podcast, and then I make a series of our service, because honestly no one sits and watches. I mean, and I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot when I say this, most people don't watch a YouTube video for over 30 minutes. And especially from a church standpoint, what I do is if my pastor preaches for 30 minutes, I chop that up into 10-minute segments and I just put them in a playlist and let the end card point to the next one. It gives people more control. You want to make your content more binge worthy. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. So here is our intro. We're going to, and I didn't even make my timeline. That's what I was doing. So we call this full new timeline online. And we do everything in full here. Put our timeline here, which I got from Envato, Video Hive. I get all my templates from there because I am not in a point where I really want to invest the time to learn After Effects. So I just get a template from more professional people than me, and that's what I use. So we're going to fade this out for 1 second. Put a marker here so it sticks there. And now we're going to add our video. Actually, Mark, I'm actually working on something. I had a kind of an epiphany when I was driving back, and I'm going to try and test out some things with the stuff that's coming in and some other stuff, and I would let y'all know. And I think, honestly, what it really could be done is if they just did an update. Let me drag this over, because this is what we were told originally, and I constantly get this on the video that I posted when it was first announced. Originally, a person with Blackmagic at NAB said that under this output, there would be a multi-view here. And they just picked that, and then the HDMI output would show this. And again, I'm assuming what it was is that the USB out and the HDMI out would be independent of each other. And if you did that, then you can have, say the USB output is showing the multi-view of all the stuff like you normally would see with the ATEM switcher, or HDMI, you can switch. Originally, that's what it was said it was supposed to do. Now, I don't know what's inside of this. I am not in any point in time going to cut this open anywhere soon to try and do this. But if they just did that, that would make all of this, you wouldn't even have to do anything, which makes simple. Yeah, Mark, I did watch those videos, and that was kind of where I had one of the videos that you sent me is the reason why I ordered that ATEM HDMI splitter that's supposed to be here soon. And again, I saw some other ones too. Yeah, I've been watching Lon Simon for a long time. I like his stuff as well too. And yeah, I really like what they're doing, and I like this ATEM. But originally, what I think about it is it's not meant. I don't think it was meant for like a full time type of setup for like a church or something like that, but it additional items can make it good. So like again, in this type of setup, I have access to all my cameras here. I have a camera here, I have a camera right in front of me where I have the viewfinder pointing at me so I can see what everything looks like. In this type of setup, I think the ATEM Mini is great. Now, if you're trying to use this as your full-time switcher at a church or something like that, you're going to have to add some other pieces to it, which again, I feel if just Blackmagic made an update in some way to make that an aux out on by choice of HDMI or USB and give us a multi-view, that would save all of this. I mean, because as well, one other thing that I have a complaint about with the ATEM Mini is there is no headphone out for this. Audio in is great, but they normally, like the ATEM that I have under the table, there is an actual headphones that I can plug in so I can hear everything. Right now, I can't. I have my headphones right here, which is what I use for when I'm listening to prep for everything, and I have it plugged in as well too. I'm using my mini streaming system right now, the ITX one right here instead of my main one that's on the floor, because it's just closer to the ATEM. Those are the only two things I have an issue with the ATEM Mini is headphone out so I can hear all of the stuff coming in so I can balance it. Because I mean, it's great that you have this mixer here. That you can adjust the audio and all this other stuff like that, which is just like DaVinci Resolve, but you can't hear what it is you're adjusting unless you're plugging into some other headphone, something else like the audio coming out of the computer or something like that. That's the only downside I have, as well as the multi-view, and that hasn't changed. So unfortunately, right now, this is kind of some stuff that you have to add on to get around it. Now let's bring in my video here. Let's fade this in and let's adjust our noise gate here. And I've noticed so much faster performance by this being on this 1 terabyte NVMe, way faster. Like even bringing up the audio levels were significantly faster. And while I'm doing this, if y'all are watching, let me know in the comments, do you already have an ATEM Mini? Are you ordering it? Do you have reservations for it? Let me know in the comments about that. Alright, so let's take off all these thumbnails here. And I need to balance out the sound. And see right here, let me go to Fairlight so y'all can see it. This is exactly the same audio layout here with the ATEM Mini. So if I come in here, I double clicked on Dynamics. See, it's the exact same thing, which is cool. It just doesn't let you do kind of plugins and stuff like that. That's only it. Alright, so we're gonna burn through this really fast. Alright. And this is where it got quiet. And we're just trying to start opening him. Offering, there's your boy on the piano right there, yeah. Hey, I agree, Mark. I really wish that that's how it was, and honestly, it really is. I think I really feel that like not DaVinci Resolve, Blackmagic made this to where it's really meant for somebody who's doing live streaming. So like, for example, and I have it still set up for this. What I normally have right now, I did it yesterday, I have my PlayStation coming in through one of these splitters, because it actually removes the encryption off of it so that it can work. Plugging in the PlayStation directly into this does not work. Yeah, Mark. No, I'm kind of like the same way, because what I plan on using this for is, instead of me taking my whole system that I normally do when I do live events for games and stuff like that, I'm gonna shrink down my ITX system that I'm live streaming on right now into the ASRock A300, because it's streaming off of USB. I don't need a capture card. That system is about like that big and that wide. So my thought is to take that as my streaming PC. There is a portable screen that you can get that almost looks like an iPad, but it's literally just a secondary monitor. So I can put that in a book bag, put that little computer in a book bag, put this A10 mini in a bag, and then I just have my camera, and that's all I have. Because when I normally go live streaming events, I have like a small suitcase that carries everything around. Yeah, I mean, and when I do my games live stream, Mark, yeah, I don't do any editing. And most of the time, I add graphics onto it, but that's all done in OBS. I'll bring up the title screen and all this other stuff. And like, for example, let me show you here one of the things that I got. Let me get the right screen on here. So like when I go to, this is kind of like the channel that I do my sports stuff on. So this is one of the games that I did locally, where LeBron James' son was here playing at one of the games. And what I normally do is, let me rewind it. When I live stream it, it's just raw. I add all this through the stream, but when I come and post it again, I edit out a lot of the breaks. So all the fancy stuff on here, I added that. And this is just generic. I made it once. I don't change the, I mean, I need to change the pictures on here, but all of this is exactly the same. And so I don't really change this when it comes to other teams. But when I'm on site, kind of like what you said, Mark, everything that you're about ready to see is live. Now, this was live too. I just cut out the break in between. So this is the live game of me there. And what I do, this is the whole intro, the team's intro. And this is just me with one camera. The lower thirds with the score and everything like that, I did that on the same computer that I'm live streaming on. So I literally have a big package. I literally have one computer and a camera. But all that gear is a full size. I mean, well, it's not a full size computer, but it's a mini ITX system. But the idea is I want to shrink that down to where it's just in a book bag. And I think that's kind of like the same thing that you're talking about. And in your setup, you would have additional microphones since you're doing interviews and stuff like that. And that's kind of like the same mindset of how I'm doing my stuff. So good convo. And I like what everybody else is thinking about using this for. I mean, I plan on using this for events and then gaming and stuff like that. And just a small version of when I go to events and I need to live stream and I'm not here. That's kind of like why I like this ATEM, as well as putting this in the chapel at my church, which I recently did a video about, because there's not that many people there. And most people don't use that. So I don't need to put a full system over there because it's not going to be used. So that's why I want something that's this small. And then when we have other events, say like, especially from a church standpoint, say your pastor or somebody else is preaching somewhere else and they're at a church to where they don't have all this stuff. You can bring a laptop, whatever, hook all this stuff up into the A10 mini, and not necessarily, you could live stream it if you're there at the other church, or you can at least record it. So now, just like I would record away games for a team, you can record away sermons or whatever for your pastor in church. That's just what opens up all the possibilities with this stuff. So It's really cool. And I think like what you're saying, using this for interviews is an awesome way to do this as well too. Like if I go to nursing homes and I want to interview some people who are at our church hasn't been around in a while, I mean, this makes it easy to do. Really cool. All right, so I need to crank this volume up here. Let's zoom in and find. Yeah, we just have to wait for innovation to get around the issue of black magic. But I think the good thing about black magic is they are open to stuff because a lot of things that they've given us over the years, originally they said couldn't be done and it came out later. But like there are a lot of things that can be done. Like that software that I've been playing around with and I haven't had the time to do a video is using the Stream Deck. Let me move this over. Sorry. Like using the Stream Deck here to control this. I mean, I use this for shortcuts, but someone else has already made a program to give you all the functionality of it. Because some of like DSK, upstream keyers, all this other stuff, they didn't have a shortcut through for this, but the SDK can. So somebody wrote a program to do it. So sooner or later, it's going to get to that point. I'm just thankful that they made the hardware because that's the harder part. Doing different type of integrations and tweaks and stuff like that. We got people like us to do stuff like that. Yeah, Mark, I completely agree. Like the other, not that this is a complaint, but my question is why do their switchers still don't talk to NDI? Why don't we have any NDI inputs into some of these ATEM switches? It's software. It's not like I don't think they need to add any hardware. I mean, again, I could be wrong. You need some processing power to handle that. But still, I mean, why not have a processor in here that could handle NDI inputs and all this other stuff, or at least output this as NDI? I mean, I'm thankful for the USB out. Now, honestly, I've been having some issues with this USB on my most powerful system. The audio and video have starting to get out of sync for some odd reason. I'm gonna test that again to confirm what that is, but I have noticed that. But yeah, I mean, it's some obvious stuff I feel was left on the table, but it's better than nothing. That's the one thing I would say about this. All right, so we got here, we're gonna bring in our lower thirds, and I still haven't had a chance to make all the rest of the lower thirds in here, this new format. And I need to crank up my pastor's volume here. Let's do it to 10. And that volume is really, really low. So paste that. We're going to spin this in reverse. And let's drag both of these out to about at 75%. So they don't disappear so fast. So we come in here. Boom. All right, perfect. So now let's select both of these and we're just going to move it down here to about right there. All right, so that's good. Now, I only got to do this once because in that placement is going to be perfectly fine. So let's find where this video started. We are at 1 hour, 4 minutes. So preach for almost 40 minutes. Zoom in a little bit more. So at this point, I'm going to split this up into 4 10-minute videos. All right, so that's perfect. I'll fade this out here. more. Fade this in for a second. Fade this in for a second. Fade this out for a second. Yeah, Mark, that's probably true. I mean, the company is ultimately about trying to make some profits, so I give it that. But I think it's one of those things that, are they leaving out for making extra money, or is it they're leaving it out because they really didn't think about that? Which honestly, at this point, I think that's kind of weird how they could possibly not think people want that. Just like not including NDI. All right, so there's our sermon there in total. So what we're going to do is let's take all of this. Actually, let me copy this first one here. The intro for the first. We're on our new timeline here. Let's make a marker right there. And now everything is in orange. We're going to copy this. And we're going to paste it there. Alright, so we are good. Just fade that in. And I need to move this up some more. So I need to put it actually right here instead, because it's not fading fast enough. Let's cut and see what it looks like now. That's better. Trying to pronounce your name, so sorry if I mess it up. Thurbin James. Yes, we do live stream. This is actually the live stream I'm actually editing. What I do at our church, we live stream to Facebook. And in Facebook, let me go here real quick. Try church's page over here. If it'll come up, church's page. Thank you. All right, so inside of here, we live stream. Let me go to videos. And this was the service today. So I'm going to try and speed through it just to answer your question. So there's the opening graphics. So we do that part. Let's skip forward some. There's the lyrics, scripture that we have on there. That's actually lyrics, excuse me. So this is what everybody normally would see. I don't know why that camera is cocked to the side like that. There's scripture reading. That was me playing. I'm trying to get to offering so you can see. I don't know why it's skipping all over the place. But in short, yes, we do all that. All of that is done for the live stream. What I'm editing right now is the raw recorded straight from the system. So in our ATEM switcher, we still have scripture and lyrics is going to be embedded in here in the raw video. So if I come back over here, so that's here. But the intro graphics and all that stuff are not here. That's considered something separate. That's for the live stream only. So yeah. So the short answer of that is, do you live stream at church services? Yes. Do you live stream graphics, scripture, and lyrics and songs? Yes. We do all that, and we use ProPresenter, but I actually am more of a fan of Worship Extreme. I didn't know about Worship Extreme before we bought ProPresenter, but I have tons of videos where we talk about that and show you how to use it. It makes it really simple, and I talk about how you can integrate that with your live stream without a switcher or with a switcher, all of that. Yeah, Mark, exactly. I mean, but I think back off what you said, holding off to make some more money. I think that's part of it. I don't think it's a, I mean, but again, this is a small form factor. It could be that they just can't crank in enough power inside of here to keep it cool. Now, granted, it's not hot, but I can feel it. It's warm. It's it's not scalding to the touch. Anybody who's ever messed with any of the original ATEMs, like we have the original television studio at my church, that thing is hot. It doesn't have any fans. It just has a heat sink on it. And it's gotten so hot that some of the ports stopped working to where I had to literally take a fan and put it on there. But maybe that's the reason. I don't know. All right. So what we're going to do now is find our 10-minute mark. And that's where we're going to start splitting these up. And I'm mainly looking for when he pauses in between what he's saying.
They became messengers. See, when you have an encounter with the Lord, when you meet God, when you have a head-on collision with the Lord, you are no longer what you are.
All right, so I'm going to finish that statement because I want to drop it to where they, when I'm editing this, I want it to end it to where you leave them on a cliffhanger so they want to watch the next one. So finishing that phrase is good. That's going to be my number one. Now we're at 11:41, so let's jump another 10 minutes. So we're going to look at 21.
Make it to 20. Bill has been good to me.
Good. I'll cut it right there. That's number 2. Let's change this to a different color so I can tell them apart. Now that's 21:56. Close to it right here. Look for this break.
Not only can he deliver me from my sins, but he can do exceedingly above all that I can even imagine.
I'm going to stop it right there. All right, and there's our last one, and then, well, the third one, and then the rest I'm going to leave for the next clip. All right, and let's make this a different color. Let's make it pink. And these are our series of how I'm going to split this. All right, thanks, Mark. Thanks for joining. Appreciate the conversation. All right, so we got this. This is this is what we're going to edit for our podcast, just the audio. Now, what I'm going to do is take this entire thing, make a new timeline, 29, P1, make another one, 20, 29, 2019, P2, P3, P4. And all I'm going to do is just paste this here. And I'm just going to erase. That's why I like this button. It gives you the entire timeline here. And here, I'm just going to erase all of that. Delete number 1. Everything will slide down. Delete all of this. 3. And this is the reason why I only did one lower third, because it's already there. I don't have to keep changing this. It's already there. I'm just deleting the video. Everything else stays the same. And then number 4, let's get rid of all of this. And we have our closing. Now we're going to just come in here. Let's do a little fade in here. So it's just not, it starts with just him yelling. See what that looks like.
Can you dry up?
All right. And all I'm doing is just doing a little fade in. And I'm not I mean, I could do a fade at the end. I don't really think it's necessary. Because I mean, I've just been playing around with this so often, I don't think it's needed. But this is always a learning experience. It's never, this is it. You don't need to learn nothing else. I mean, I'm learning something every day. I post a new video here. I'm learning something. I mean, the A10 Mini is new. Everything. So if we look at the end, and I mean, it's fine. I'm still going to do end cards on this. And on the last 10 seconds, that's going to show up. So that's it. We got everything done. So now we're just going to go over here, prep everything. And we're going to do this for YouTube. 1229 P1. I still need to make the thumbnail and all this other stuff, but I'll probably do that later here because this has been dragging on. We had some good conversation, and let me know, folks, if you need any other additional help. Like I said, our church live streaming 101 that goes over the scripture, lyrics, how to live stream, what platform to use, what type of hardware to get, how to have a workflow for your team, how to set up OBS, how to set up your live streaming software, how to do multicasting. We cover all of that, and you can check that out in the link below, but go to modernmediaministry.com. The full course drops on January, and it's going to be constantly more videos that are going to be added to it. About half of the content is there right now, a lot of it for you to chew through, and then more content is being added. Yes, actually, James, I have used Worship Extreme for that. I've actually used Worship Extreme to set up a game show that we actually did at Bible study. A bunch of other churches that I help out use that as well. Now, Worship Extreme is not for live streaming. It's only a presentation software that shows lyrics and scriptures, but it can be embedded and layered on top of your streaming software. And that's it. There are a bunch of videos on there, but let me know if there's anything specifically that you're looking for. I probably have a video on it. If I don't, I will let you know, and I'll put something together. And just make sure you have subscribe and have notifications turned on, and when I drop that, you'll be the first one to see it. But back, the church live streaming 101 drops January 1st. Half of the content is there right now, with more content that's being added. I really pulled back a lot of that stuff because some of my students, as well as other clients that I've had, have wanted me to include certain parts of it. So that's why I took that half down, and I'm re-recording that to add the content that they felt it will be useful to the people who are going to that course. Again, modernmediaministry.com is where you can check that out. You are welcome, James. Let me finish this up, and I will catch y'all on the next time. We have, like I said, I guess the package didn't get delivered today, but I will have a video on my solution for the multi-view with the A10 Mini, as well as retesting part 2 of these long HDMI cables. And we just got a bunch of stuff going on, especially I have a couple of installs that are going on. I got like 3 emails while we were talking about building another live streaming computer, video editing computer. I just did one, and I had the video, and it just came out trash. That's why I didn't upload it. But I built a 4K video editing system for a church in San Bernardino, California, and I shipped that out 2 days ago. So they're supposed to be getting that around like January 4th or the 6th. Waiting to hear back with them about that. And I got about 9 computers I'm supposed to be building pretty soon, redoing an entire media ministry here in the city, helping them out with their computers, as well as training and all this other stuff. And then on a side note, I actually got pulled aside at church today by a bunch of parents and some kids. They wanted me to teach them how to live stream, as in how to set up a YouTube channel, how to put their passion online, and this is with some adults as well too. So be on the lookout for that. I'm actually going to do that as a local thing at my church, but depending on the people want to see that, I'll actually break that and have that as a separate thing to show how to do that. So thank y'all for joining me. Thank you for the awesome commentary, conversations going back and forth. Really appreciate it. If I don't get a chance to talk to y'all and don't post another video before the end of the year, y'all have a great new year. Learn something new, You already know that there's always growth in death. There's no stagnation. Always keep learning. That's how you keep growing. That's how you stay young. Make yourself better tomorrow than you did yesterday. Always learn something new. That's what I try and do, and I hope I help teach y'all something new that you will learn. Have a great new year, great holiday. Love the people, love on the people that are close to you, because we're not promised any amount of time. Just do the best that you can and move forward. So thank y'all again for being with me this whole year, and we got bigger and better things coming, and thank y'all for your support. This is AJ, and we will see you on the next video. Later.